to imagine it. The sun goes down and the world doesn't dim, it vanishes. No streetlights, no lamp, no glowing phone. For almost the entire span of human history, night meant 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours of near total darkness every single night of your life. You couldn't read. You could barely see your own hands. So what on earth did ancient humans actually do for all those hours in the dark? The answer is far richer and far stranger than they just went asleep. The answer almost always begins with fire. The taming of fire was the single most important thing that ever happened to the human night. A fire was warmth against the cold. It was a kitchen for cooking the day's food. And most of all, it was a wall of light in a world of predators. Around that flickering circle, a family or a whole band would gather every evening, and the campfire became the beating heart of human night life, the very first place people came together after dark. Because make no mistake, the darkness was dangerous. For most of prehistory, humans were not the top of the food chain at night. Big cats, hyenas, and other hunters saw far better in the dark than we ever could, and a sleeping human was an easy meal. So the fire did double duty. It lit the camp, and it kept the glowing eyes at the edge of the light exactly where they belonged, at the edge. To let the fire die at night could be a fatal mistake. And here is where it gets fascinating. Anthropologists who studied one of the last hunter-gatherer societies noticed something remarkable. The conversation completely changed after dark. During the daytime, talk was practical complaints, planning, gossip, the business of survival. But at night, by the fire, the talk transformed. Daytime chatter gave way to stories, to myth, to singing. The firelight, it seems, was where imagination came alive. This nightly ritual was not just entertainment. It was the internet, the library, and the school of the ancient world all at once. With no writing for most of human history, everything a people knew had to be carried in memory and passed on out loud. The routes to water, the myths of where the world came from, the map of the stars. Night after night, around the fire, one generation downloaded itself into the next. Culture itself was born in the dark. Eventually, of course, everyone slept, but not the way you do. Historians have uncovered strong evidence that before artificial light, people slept in two separate shifts. They'd go down not long after dark for what they called their first sleep. Then, around midnight, they would naturally wake up and stay awake for an hour or two before going back down for their second sleep until dawn. For thousands of years, waking in the dead of night wasn't insomnia. It was just normal. So what did they do in that strange, quiet hour in the middle of the night? Quite a lot, actually. Old writings describe people using the time to tend the fire, to talk quietly with whoever else was awake, to pray or reflect, to make love, or even to slip over and visit a neighbor. It was a peaceful, dreamy, in-between time that our ancestors simply took for granted, and that almost every one of us has now completely lost. And when they looked up, they saw something almost none of us will ever see. With no electric light for 100,000 years, the night sky was staggering, a blazing river of stars, the Milky Way arcing bright enough to cast a shadow. To ancient humans, that sky was a clock, a calendar, and a compass. They tracked the seasons by it, navigated by it, and filled it with gods and heroes and animals. The constellations we still name today were first imagined by people staring up from the dark. But someone always had to keep an eye on the dark. In a world of predators and dying fires, a sleeping camp needed a guardian, and there's a beautiful theory about who did it. Studies of modern hunter-gatherers found that people of different ages naturally sleep at different times. The young stay up late, the old wake early. Spread across a group, that means at almost any hour of the night, someone was awake. The camp was never truly unguarded. Evolution, it seems, built us a night watch. Of course, the darkness was never only practical. To the ancient mind, night was the realm of the unknown, of spirits, of ancestors, of things that could not be explained. Dreams were not dismissed as random noise. They were often believed to be messages, journeys, or visits from another world. The dark hours blurred the line between the living and the dead, the real and the imagined. Night wasn't just when humans rested. It was when they touched the mysterious. And through all of it ran the simplest need of all, staying warm and staying safe until sunrise. Long before houses, Ancient humans sheltered in caves under overhangs and in simple huts, wrapped in animal skins and pressed close together for warmth. Body heat was survival. Families slept in a huddle, the fire banked low nearby, waiting out the cold and the dark together, because together was the only way our ancestors ever made it through the night. Then in the blink of an evolutionary eye, we lit up the world and the ancient night vanished. We flattened our two sleeps into one rigid block, drowned out the stars and traded the fireside for the screen. But for nearly the whole human story, the night was not empty and it was not wasted. It was warm and social and full of fire and stories and stars. So the next time you're lying awake at 3 a.m., don't be so quick to call it insomnia. Some part of you might just be keeping the oldest watch there is. If you'd want more of the story you were never taught, subscribe, and we'll see you in the dark.